Hey good people, welcome back to Beauty and the Frizz. My name is Cara. Whether you're new or returning, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me for a bonus Frizzmas video. Ooh, we just got a bunch of light in here. This is a collab video and I'm really excited to do this one. I'll tell you all about the collaborators in just a second, but today I am going to be talking about 10 everyday palettes that can be used for holiday looks. So if you want to hear me talk about eyeshadow, which I love doing, keep watching this video. Let me know what you think. And if makeup is your therapy and your love, if it makes you happy and you want to hang out with someone that feels the same way, definitely consider joining the community. I'd love to have you back. All right, let's get started. As you can see, my door is not closed. However, you can get a glimpse of my tree. It is not decorated yet, but Amazon definitely came through with my very first fake tree. So I am gonna get that decorated later, but it's pre-lit. I am loving it, and I don't think I'm gonna switch back to a real tree. The ease, it's all about the ease. And I know it's late, I know it's the 17th, but that's just where I'm at this year, and you know what? It's okay. Let's talk about this collab. So one of my subbies, who is also a YouTuber, her name is Gel Beauty 87, reached out to myself and my best friend Dr. Ash from Dr. Ash and Her Makeup, and she was just like, you know, you all have really inspired me and I want to reach out and see if you'll collab with me on this video idea. And she talked all about the idea and where it came from, but basically we're going to be talking about palettes that are not holiday palettes. So these are not going to be any type of holiday launches or releases that you may have in your stash that you can use to create holiday looks. And I was really excited to do this collab because I'm always excited to shop my stash and look at what I already have. It's so easy to forget. Even though I have a spreadsheet, you know, I was thinking about it, I'm not really seeing the color stories in the spreadsheet, you know what I mean? So I do forget about the color stories that I have, and I did purchase some holiday launches, and now it's gonna have me questioning, was it something that I even needed? You know what I mean? Especially when I'm not going anywhere. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Gel Beauty as well as Dr. Ash. So Gel Beauty 87, she is a makeup enthusiast. She does a lot of bold and colorful eyeshadow looks. And if you like chatty videos with, you know, some humor, things like that, she is going to be a channel that you'll enjoy watching. I was actually watching one of her videos this morning where she was using a menagerie palette, and she had me laughing about something. I can't remember right now. But it's just kind of a video like I was watching and I was doing some things in the kitchen, and it's just a pleasant time. And I always appreciate videos like that and content creators like that. So definitely go over to her channel and look at the palettes that she chose for this video. Thank you so much for reaching out and asking me to collab, because I'm really happy to do it. Now, Dr. Ash, you have probably heard me mention Dr. Ash all the time. She is one of my YouTube best friends. We bonded over Pat McGrath, of course, and she does really incredible eyeshadow looks. Dr. Ash has a doctorate in pharmacy, and eyeshadow is her jam, and that's how you get Dr. Ash and Her Makeup. So check out her video too after you finish watching this one. I cannot wait to see the palettes that they chose. We didn't have a criteria or an amount of palettes, but these really stood out to me, so I'm definitely curious to hear your thoughts. So leave some in the comments. Let me know what you think about the palettes that I chose, and let me know if you have some go-to holiday palettes aside from holiday palettes, if that makes any sense. No launches, just everyday palettes you have in your collection. So let's get started. So the first palette that I want to talk about is the Anastasia Beverly Hills and Jackie Aina collab. Now this is my favorite palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and forgive me because this is looking a little beat up right now, but look at this color story. Hi. What's wrong? You need a tissue. Oh. Oh my God, y'all. So Marky is in such a melancholy type stage. So he is talking about his dad a lot, who passed away, and pets that have passed away. He's just really melancholy and reflective right now. He also is sad because August is sick. So, you know, I have like a whole kind of talk that I have with him when he gets in those moods, and we try to think about like, what are some things that we can do to help you, you know, feel better or get in a better spot. It's really hard for him to verbalize those types of things, but we are working through it. So he is good for right now. And I edit so much out. Like, we've been talking, we've been sitting here, but I will be checking on him in a few minutes. For right now, let's get back to Miss Jackie Aina. Now, what I wanted to say about this color story is that, when I first saw this palette, I think it had already been out and maybe had gone on sale or something. This color story really did not grab me in the beginning, and I'm really not sure why. But once I kind of got hip to the game, I did obviously purchase this palette, and I think that this is a great palette for some holiday looks. You can do a lot of glam looks. You can even do some neutral earthy looks. It's an all around just great palette. I think this is a great one to take on vacation because you can do so much. So let's look at some of the shades that are the reason that I chose this palette. Let's first look at the duochrome, which is the shade Sponsored. Now this is that green brown. I'm liking going into this palette because I haven't swatched anything on it in a while, and I'm just curious to see the performance. Here's that green brown duochrome, and I will show these up close. I love that. So if you're going to an event and you just want to have something a little special, a little different, I think that is a great shade. You have the shade Zam, which is a kind of glittery pink, rose gold. Rose gold is the shade. Yeah, look at that. And I mean, this is swatching beautifully. Lituation is another one. One of my favorite shades now are the taupe metallics. This one is beautiful. Like, Jackie Aina really put together such a wonderful palette. And then on top of that, you have a lot of mattes that, I don't know if I said this, they're gonna work for any skin tone. You know what I mean? And that's not something that we find with mattes in a lot of palettes. So I mean, you've got a pink, you've got a berry shade here, a purple, you have these kind of earthy, like clay terracotta mattes, you have a deep brown. This palette has everything that I need. You have a few shades that you can use for an inner corner highlight, and I think they all mix and match really well. This palette was so well done, and it is still a standout in my collection. Maybe one of the best palettes that I own. And just looking at the swatches here, it still performs beautifully. So that's number one. Palette number two is a Dior Quint, and it is Black Bow. Y'all might be tired of hearing me talk about Black Bow, but it is one of, I think, their best quints, because the reason that I say that is because you have to be in the mood to use the Dior quints. One, if you like to use a lot of eyeshadow on your eyes, a lot of different colors, a lot of different shades, like if you want to use 5 shades, these quints don't really work like that for me. I think the quints work best when you decide that you're going to use the top 3 or the bottom 3, or maybe the 3 on the sides, but using them all, it doesn't really work, in my opinion. Also, some of the shimmers aren't really shimming. If you like shimmy shimmers, you might not be getting that from the Dior quints. I think that Black Bow is different though, because Black Bow has a bit of sparkle and shine that some of the quints just don't have. So here's what it looks like up close. So you see you have 2 kind of varying degrees of gray silvers, a black, you have a lavender, and then you have a frosty white. So here are the 2 silvery shades. So this really makes me think of winter, makes me think of like holiday party, something you wear with a black dress or something like that. I don't really go to any parties like that, at least not in the past couple years, but I love that. And then you have the balance of the satin shades. So this lavender purple goes really nicely with it. And then the frosty white. Then you have that frosty white shade. It's not even really white. It's kind of like a silvery white. And then you have the black. I don't think the black is gonna swatch very well. I can't remember. But it works well on the eye. But yeah, I think this is a great holiday color story. And I don't think I showed these other swatches up close. So here are the Jackie Aina swatches. And then here's Black Bow. So you can really see that shimmer and sparkle there that's gonna give you something like really glam, really holiday. I think it looks really nice. So that is why I chose Black Bow as my number 2. So for number 3, I actually have a palette. It's discontinued from Notoriously Morbid. This is my Path of the Dark Side palette. It is like a tribute to Darth Vader. And here's what this palette looks like. Now, if you're not familiar with Notoriously Morbid, I do feature a lot of their palettes on my channel. They are a small indie brand, homemade, very creative themes and color stories for their collections. I don't have everything, but I do have a lot of their palettes. And this is one that when it's sold out, I don't think this one came back. I don't even know if it restocked, but very, very unique palette. And this is kind of like grungy holiday. And let me just show you some of the shades in this palette. Now, one of the things about Notoriously Morbid, as I get ready to swatch them, their shadows can be a bit messy, and you want to use some type of mixing medium with this palette. Some of them are kind of like semi-loose pigments, so you definitely want to do your face last if you don't want to use anything with them. But I definitely would encourage using a shadow bind or primer mixing medium with these shades. So here are 3 of the shades in the palette. I mean, look at this one. This is like that red to black duochrome flip, if you can see it there. And again, I'll get close on these. So this one is really smooth. It doesn't have a lot of sparkle. It doesn't have any sparkle to it, but it has the duochrome. And then these 2 are really sparkly shimmers. And there are other ones in this palette that are nice as well, but these really stood out to me. They really make the palette unique. There is this white shade here. This one's a little flakier. This is gonna be great for your inner corner highlight shade. And it's also a duochrome. It's got some glitters in it. And I can see hints of like a fiery pink in that shade. As far as the mattes go, it's only gonna really allow for a really grungy look, but you can try like diffusing this shade out, which is a really unique cool toned grungy brown. I think this one is really interesting. You do have your festive holiday red, and everything else is kind of like a satin shimmer, but definitely can make some holiday looks. Or this palette can be a companion palette for another palette that you have, like with the mattes that you want to use. But if you want something unique for a holiday look, I definitely think you can get that from this palette. So that's why I chose this one. Palette number 4 is from none other than Tammy Tanuka, and this is the Peacock palette. I haven't even used this palette, y'all. I think what happened was I got this palette, and then by the time I was ready to use it, it was not available anymore, and you can't purchase from Tammy Tanuka due to the climate over in Russia. So it's just kind of sat, but I thought this would be perfect to bring out for this collab. Beautiful peacock detailing on the front. And then here are the shades in this palette. I chose this one because this is a really standout palette, and if you're going to a party or you want something really festive, I think this palette would definitely be that. So let's go ahead and swatch the shimmers. I will say that when Tammy Tanuka becomes available again, if you were slightly interested in her brand, I would say go for it. I don't think you would be disappointed. She is right up there with quality like Pat McGrath, Natasha Denona, any of your top 5 eyeshadow brands. Tammy Tanuka would fit right in with those brands. So here are the shimmers in the palette. So actually this shade reminds me of Sponsored from the Jackie Aina palette. Again, that's a pretty common duochrome, but I mean, any of these are going to be showstoppers if you wore this somewhere for a holiday event. Like, you just can't go wrong. And then I think the choice of the 2 mattes that are in this palette are really nice. I mean, this one you can probably blend out to be a transition and then build it up if you didn't want to use this one. Or you can use this one in the transition and then this one in like the outer corner to give it like a little bit of smokiness, or even do a halo eye, ooh, with this. Or even using one of these bright blue shades, because these aren't my typical shades, but doing the look that I was just describing, and then maybe using one of these as a liner on the upper and lower lash line. Yes. Okay, so for the rest of the palettes, there's 3 brands and I have 2 palettes from each. So let's see. Let's start with Adept. So palette number 5, House of L. Oh my gosh, these have some of the best shimmers ever. And here's what the palette looks like up close. Not a huge fan. Like, this could totally go for me. I don't need that one at all. But I'm gonna tell you, like, these red shimmers, and I'm thinking holiday, you know what I mean? And then you got the green. Like, look at that. Makes no sense. This one is called Zor L. Like, this is a multi-chrome. You can see kind of a fiery golden orange. You have that red, and then you have the green there. Oh, this one is Cal L. Another multi-chrome. Has some similarities, but a little bit of differences with that one. This one is Allura Zor L. Now, these are all different variations. So you can see there that they're different shades. And then we have Cara Zor L. It's kind of that like ice pink champagne. This is Laura Van L. This is that green. Oh, look at that. And then Jor-El is the blue. I mean, these are show-stopping shades. Let me zoom in on them. Look at that. And when you turn the lights out on these, let me do that, because these have fire. Like, this makes no sense, y'all. Like, you are gonna light up the room. These are nice too, but these have, it's like they have their own light, and I just think that is so pretty. And again, you don't have to use the mattes in the palette is the thing, but this just adds a little oomph to even the most neutral look. Like, I was using today, like, this is the Natasha Denona Glam Face palette. I just used a matte because I was trying out one of the Lisa Eldridge Liquid Lorex shadows, just for like a simple one and done type look. But like, just take one of those mattes from a Natasha Denona palette and pair it with this. So we're gonna stay with Adept, and I am now gonna show you Plain Jane Remastered. Now for me, an all shimmer palette is going to be a companion palette. I don't really do all shimmer looks, but it is going to be so easy to take one of your basic palettes like the Patrick Top Major Dimension 1 or 2, and you want something extra, you could take it from a palette like this. Let's just look at a few of the shades. I don't even know if I've swatched this one because I did have the original version and then I decided to get the new one because they had a sale. But this one, AC13. Okay, maybe you don't like these bright red fiery tones. Maybe they're just too much. maybe they're too sparkly. So you could take something like this beautiful smooth shimmer, and it doesn't look very duochromy, but getting up on this, I can see small multicolored reflex in the shadows. So that's just gonna give you something special. Like when someone really looks at your makeup, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, I thought this was this, but it's not. Let's see what else we have. Let's look at ACI 10. That's this one. This is the first one I swatched. So look at this one. I mean, even for an inner corner highlight, you know, you're gonna have that color that in one light is gonna look one way and someone's gonna think it's pink, but then someone else might think it's green. It just has that beautiful shift to it that, you know, duochromes have. Let's look at ACI 18. So it looks kind of blue in the pan. So there it is. Oh yeah, so this one, this is like that wet looking shimmer. So, oh my gosh, like on a halo eye and just tapping that, or just do your regular eye and then like tap this just right here. Just tap it right here. Like I could do like this. Yeah. Go ahead, do your thing. Just come in. Oh, we can't really see you. That's good. Would you see that? Give me that. Don't be going through none of these bags. I'm not going through those bags. Okay, look. So you see what I'm saying? And this isn't really neat by any means, but like, just tap it on top of what you already have. Like that just gave it a whole nother level. Ooh.
It was very marvelous.
Huh? What you say?
It was very, very marvelous.
Oh, thank you. Pirate's booty. What is this? The extra blasted cheddar? Oh my God. Okay, but do y'all see? Let's get back to it. You see what I'm saying? Now this looks different. It looks different than what I had on in the beginning because you can't barely see it, and it looks wet. And then just stick the other shade. Do I have a brush? All right, I'm gonna try. Like, I can't really do it because let me see. I'm gonna say like just stick this other shade in the inner corner. You get the point. So Plain Jane is like a great palette. See, and it's Plain Jane is everything but plain. And that's why she made the palette like that, because the Jane that she based this on from the book, I think she was described as plain, but she really wasn't. That's what this is. So I had to include this, and I'm sorry I did not swatch all the shades, but I just wanted to show you how you can use this palette and then amp up your look. See, and even if you don't like a whole bunch of rigmarole and bold eyeshadow looks, I've been wanting to use the word rigmarole for a while, so probably misused it, but you could just do what I just said. And if you're like a luxury makeup user, or like you just prefer like the Lisa Eldridge one and dones, look how we just amped it up just using another shade. It took no skill at all. So there's that. Now, palettes 7 and 8 are gonna belong to Sydney Grace. Let's start with a Radiant Reflection. First of all, this is like a galactic rainbow. It's all of these wonderful jewel toned shades, and this is the light version, I think. Let me see. Yes, I got the light version in all of the Sydney Grace palettes. So the only shades that I would really use for transitions are this one and this one. You can even use that for a smoke shade. But the gift is in these metallics. Now these are gonna be very opaque, foiled metallics. They're not gonna have this. They're not gonna have the sparkle that Adept has. The thing about Adept though is that every Adept shimmer doesn't have this. Some are like these. So you just have to kind of know what you're getting. With Sydney Grace, you are getting a whole lot of consistency, and I think this palette can really make some beautiful, gorgeous, standout looks. Let's swatch a few shades. I want to do Phosphenes, which is this one here. One of these taupey shades that I'm into right now. Yes, easy, gorgeous. Our Starry Night. That's almost reminding me of the one in the Peacock palette. I mean, and you just one swatch, that's it. Let's look at Sumptuous Serendipity. Ooh, this is like a romantic holiday look right here. Yes, with Unstoppable Love, these two, and then Phosphenes. Yes, yes, that's it for me. Let's swatch Jealousy's Descent. Beautiful, festive green shadow. I can't. We have to swatch Temptalia just because that's who created these palettes. So if you like these mauvey looks, you're gonna really love that shade. And these palettes, I believe, do go on sale. I think a lot of people grab them for Black Friday, but this was one of my favorite releases, I have to say, for 2021. And I'm trying to figure out my favorite releases for 2022 because I have that video coming, and it's very easy for me to think of the worst releases. That's a piece of cake. Here are the swatches from Radiant Reflection. So I think this is a beautiful palette that you can pull out to do some gorgeous holiday looks. Ooh, I think Marky's phone just got here. UPS is outside and I didn't order any makeup. Marky's gonna have a phone, you guys. He can't get it till Christmas though, because they only got 3 gifts. I'm telling you, 3 gifts. Because like, what do they need? You know, I was thinking about getting them a Southwest gift card because it's gonna come back to me anyway. It's a thought. That way they can help pick, you know. Do I need to sign for that phone? Oh no. That way they can pick, like we can pick where we want to go. And it's like, oh, we have gift cards. Okay, so let's say you don't like a whole bunch of that. You don't need the boldness. You don't need all of that. I have the perfect palette for you from Sydney Grace for holiday. Actually, this palette is just for every occasion. It is Enduring Love. Like, okay, first of all, took me some time to understand, to really understand why people like this palette so much. All it took was a review from Mel Thompson and I was sold. I was like, oh, okay. My camera cut me off. This is the deep version. So I think that 1, if you like cool tones, 2, if you like, let's say the Natasha Denona Glam palette, this is that, but better, because I don't like the Natasha Denona Glam palette. This gives you a few more options and I just think it's a better palette. That's all I can really say, because you have these kind of rosy pink shades as well as the cool tone like browns. You have black, then you have like, oh my gosh, this shade right here, Deanna, this antique shade, it's probably one of my favorites in the palette. So let's just look at that. Ooh, let's look at Albert, which is this one here. It's a silver with a hint of taupe and Devotion, this one. Ooh, and let's look at John. Then we'll look at Elizabeth and Ruth. That's these two. So let's go ahead and swatch. See this? Yes, 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 yes. I mean, y'all, my palette has to be 2 years old. Like, look at these metallics. And these are gonna go so well for like a smoky eye look with this black right here. This one, black on the outer corner, and one of these. I can't. And then a little bit of Robert, maybe as a transition, or maybe this one, depending on your complexion. Passion is great. I don't fool with this one too much because it's already broken and chipped, which is a shame. Oh no, I chipped it more. Okay, that's a sad shame. That's because I'm always like, I can just be so hard on my palettes. All right, Elizabeth is this one here. Gorgeous. That's so romantic. And then Ruth is the blue. So these are just the beautiful shimmers, most of them from Enduring Love. And I think it's just a perfect palette. I think it is so perfect. Like, should I get another one? No, I should not get another one. But it is a great palette. And if you want to try to do a holiday look that's glam, but not so bold, you could do that. If you really like smoky eyes, it lends itself to that. I mean, this palette is spring, summer, fall, winter, is everything. So I know what you're thinking. Where's Mama Pat? Where are your holiday picks from Mama Pat? So again, I did not pick any of her holiday launches, so you're not gonna see any of the Mothership mega palettes in this video since they're holiday palettes, but I do have two. The first one's a Mothership, and I think a lot of people grab this because Pat McGrath has been on sale forever. It is my favorite Mothership of 2022. It is number 5, Bronze Seduction. Best special shades ever. We're gonna swatch them all. These are the best ones, y'all. The best ones. I'm sorry. Rose Gold 005 and VR Fire Opal. Ooh, let me not drop my palette. For what? For what? Why? Blitz Flame. Astral Luna Gold. Now this is gonna be kind of that wet toppery shade. So that's giving me like the House of L. Like if I took this and put it on top. Well, let's just try it. So see, I took a little bit of this and put it on top. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You can just kind of modify how you're gonna use the special shades. And then, okay, Extreme Aubergine. This is why I see Pat. That's why I like, we don't need all these same mattes, because when she gives you a different matte, like this one, this eggplant, this is a good one. It's so good. It feels really buttery. Look at the pigment. Can't. But I don't know what else to say. Don't know what else to say about that. Holiday palette all through and through. Through and through. It's just really good. And my last palette, you know what? This might have been a holiday release. I don't know, because I got it years later. So if it is a holiday palette, please forgive me, because I really don't know. Ooh, I have another one that would have been good too. But I picked Bronze Temptation. Is this a holiday palette? Because this looks real holiday. Let me know. Let me know, and I'll have to find something else. But we're gonna keep it. This is my number 10. I really don't know if this was a holiday launch, but it's definitely a holiday Christmassy palette. Look at that, look at it. I love this color story. It is very nice. Now, Corruption is a duochrome. This is in Galactic Gold, as well as Celestial Divinity, which was the first Mothership mega. So you might have Corruption. Corruption looks real regular, right? But then can you see that little grungy gold right there? Looks real regular till you get like that. That's why Corruption is special. Really nice. And then the other shade that I like is Supernova. That's this green here. I don't think she has a lot of like these foresty greens. Like she has Wicked Envy, which is in Midnight Sun. And then she also has, hold on, Blitz Emerald. Now Blitz Emerald is a duochrome in Mothership 2 Sublime. This is just a regular foil. I mean, it's nothing regular when it comes to Pat McGrath, but you know what I'm saying. And then we have, I think it's, let me not lie. Yes, Provocatrix, which is the champagne here. Like I said, I enjoy the, or I didn't say it here, but I've said before, I enjoy Pat McGrath's metallics. Actually, this one is a bit duochrome-y. Y'all see it? And then the ease with these two mattes. I mean, these are easy mattes to generate a look, and then use one of these, or that one, or that one. I was thinking another one from her would be the 6-pan Metamorphosis palette. That was a nice one too, but I'm gonna leave it here. Voyeuristic Vixen, the quad. That wasn't a holiday release. Let's substitute this with Voyeuristic Vixen. If in fact this was a holiday release, let me know if you know, because I don't know. All right, y'all, with that being said, those are my 10 everyday palettes that are gonna give you those holiday vibes and holiday looks. So if you have them and you have somewhere to go or not, we don't need a reason, pull them out, swatch them, just swatch them. Swatching makes me happy. It is therapy for me. Like, yes, put them on your eyes, one shade, pair them up, get a matte palette and put some of these shimmers with it, because holidays here. And these are gorgeous. So let me know what you think about the palettes that I chose. Thank you, Gel Beauty, for asking Dr. Ash and I to collab. I cannot wait to see what the two of you chose for your palettes. So I am heading over there now. Thank you so much for taking out some of your time and hanging out with me for this bonus Frizmas video. So I'm gonna have 25 videos, y'all. I hope this was therapy for you. It always is for me. So until I see you again, make sure you're being gentle with yourself. Talk to yourself nice, stay safe, and you know I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow. Bye.